Hoy, en el último día de Aqua Expo 2023, aquí en este set de entrevistas contaremos con la presencia del conferencista internacional Manoj Sharma, quien es experto en la cría de camarones de India y tiene un PhD en ciencias pesqueras. La entrevista estará a cargo de Ariana Reyes, quien es parte del equipo de procesos de Sustainable Shrimp Partnership SSP. Ariana realizará la entrevista en inglés. Adelante.
Muchas gracias, Chile, por la bienvenida. Efectivamente, vamos a iniciar la entrevista con Manoj acerca del tema de su conferencia. Okay. So, the first question I would like to ask you is, what motivated the choice of topic of overproduction, a blessing or a curse, for this event?
I've been coming Ecuador from last 10 years, and I have seen Ecuador growing 10 times more from in 2013 it was like 150 or 200,000 ton, and now it's almost producing 1.2 million tons.
Yeah.
So I have seen how Ecuador has been growing by improving pond management, feeding management, extraordinary work by the farmers. But you need to understand that the speed we can produce shrimp, the market is not going to accept that fast.
Okay.
So whenever you supply more, there is a single law of commerce, demand and supply.
Yeah.
If you supply more, the demand will come down. And in shrimp farming, Ecuador is now leader, providing 1.2 million, which is almost 40% of the international traded shrimp. And that's where I think overproduction is going to bring a hell lot of problem for Ecuador themselves and also to the world. So that I thought, because I'm into shrimp farming from last 30 years, so this is the best thing I can give message to a farmer, because I'm a farmer, and I think Ecuadorian farmers will love to understand what I'm saying. That's what I chose. Overproduction is blessing or curse.
Of course, it's a very real matter that's going on right now, of course. So, in your opinion, how exactly has this overproduction affected, whether positively or negatively, to Ecuador and India in prices, demand, and sustainability?
No, if you just keep it simple, when there is a demand, the buyer and the consumer will give you a nice pricing because it's in demand. When you know that shrimp is flooding in the market, so definitely the retailers, the vendors, the importers, the agent, everybody will smell money except the farmer. So it is very obvious that if you don't go very deep into it, it's very simple. When you produce more and there is a surplus supply in the market is going to take advantage of it. So whether it is India and Ecuador, both country has phenomenally done very good in last 10 years. Out of 2.8 million international traded shrimp, India and Ecuador are supplying 80% of the shrimp. And there are only two countries, America and China. So definitely whole system will take advantage of that. And finally, what option Ecuador has? If they go on producing, they will go on reducing the price. So one final point, when farmers will not earn money, they will go out of the business.
Of course.
So that's where it is very, very important, farmers should know where to put the brake.
Okay. Yeah, when to say, okay, this trend is getting a little bit ahead, I'm guessing.
Of course, yes.
Yeah. And could you perhaps provide some examples regarding how specifically this is impacting the overproduction, whether it is locally or internationally?
See, I'll give you one example. In 2020, COVID happened. COVID not only affected shrimp farming, COVID has affected the world economy. Whether it's America, whether it's China, already there is a global recession, followed by Ukraine war, Russia war, now Israel, Hamas. The war is also affecting the entire global economy. So the shrimp, if you see the last 3 years average price, I'll give an example of India.
Okay.
India sold shrimp in 2020 at $7.6 average. Then in next year, 2021, it came to 6.5. Now it is only 6 or 6.2. So there is a difference of $1.5 or $2 per kilo realization. And other hand, fuel prices increased, electricity prices increased, the
Everything
feed
around.
ingredient prices increased. One side, 30% price increases in raw material. World shrimp realization come down by 20%. So 50% differences. Where the farmer is going to accommodate that?
Yeah.
And so the farmers are the building block of this aquaculture industry, especially the shrimp. So the farmers put their blood and sweat to make this industry, and in crisis, they are the poorest people to go out of the business first.
Okay.
Because processors, feed millers, hatchery, everybody comes to business after the farming success. And in the value chain, in the crisis, the farmer is the first to receive the effect. So the entire value chain also should understand that because farmer dies, the entire industry dies. So it is very, very important farmer remains in the game. Then only this industry will success.
They are very strategic and important part of the whole chain.
Yeah,
of course.
exactly.
And what strategies would you say have shrimp producers here in, whether it's in India or in Ecuador, have implemented to handle the overproduction and the market situation?
See, right now we are going into the crisis. Forget about the handling. I think this Aqua Expo
Riding the
and
wave.
such a conference is actually a very directing conference, the guiding conference to the people. And I think it's very simple. If production is happening, so we all together, whether it's India, Ecuador, or the World Shrimp Fraternity, should look into how to increase the consumption. Because I will tell you, dear, a lot of people confuse between shrimp consumption and seafood consumption. Seafood consumption comprises fish and all aqua. But when you talk about particular shrimp consumption, you will be surprised, is less than even 500 gram on an average. Only except China or America, the per capita consumption is around 3 kilo. But if you see Asia and other countries, it's hardly less than 300 gram. Then also the world is producing 5.5 million ton and consuming. I see a great opportunity in this. If all we together can push a high market campaign and awareness campaign by next 2-3 years, and if this 300 gram can make it just double to 600 gram, so the world will consume another 3-4 million extra ton, and that will balance the market size. That's the biggest example. I think the global seafood market consumption and the domestic market consumption, both the side, India and Ecuador, need to really work on that.
Perfect. And would you say there are any significant differences in how India and Ecuador addresses the overproduction?
India and Ecuador, the only common difference is that both produces 1 million ton each. But when it comes to farming style, it's a day and night difference. India, I'm a farmer. I do shrimp farming in 200 hectares. So I am one of the good big farmers in India. But in Ecuador, I'm insignificant because the smallest farmer here is 500 hectares and the biggest farmer is 10,000 to 15,000 hectares. So the pond sizes, the culture technique and pattern is so entirely different. So, but it has its own unique thing. What Ecuador is achieving, India cannot achieve because our model of shrimp farming is very different. Our 95% farmers are below 5 hectares. And here in Ecuador, 1.2 million tons of shrimp is controlled by maximum 10 major players. And others are 30% small farmers. So it's a huge difference in modus operandi.
Okay.
But only common is we both produce 1 million ton shrimp.
1 million. It's good to have at least one thing in common, I guess. So in your research, have you identified successful or innovative practices that allow certain regions in India and in Ecuador to harness overproduction in a way that benefits the producers and the communities at large?
I think if to answer you very correctly, I think India has an upper edge when it comes to disease control management because we have small ponds. We have multiple players who can easily manage the small pond operation in the crucial or the disease crisis. But whereas Ecuador, minimum size is 5 hectares and maximum size is 50 hectares of single individual pond. So in the worst case scenario, the outcome of overproduction is that there will be an excess accumulation of organic loads, the feed waste into the pond, and that will be directly proportional to the infectious disease, because when you have when you compromise with carrying capacity of the system, the disease bonds to come, and if the disease comes, then I think Ecuador doesn't have an edge than India, because bigger the ponds is the biggest biosecurity risk.
Okay.
So in that case, I think India has an upper edge to overcome the disease challenges, but Ecuador has to be very cautious, because Ecuador will fall like cards if really there is a disease.
We hope not. Let's hope not.
I cross my finger, but it's not though. But since whatever my practice I'm doing, it's alarming the way Ecuador is pushing the crop, because an open appeal and request to my Ecuadorian brothers farmers that don't play with fire, because you are already doing with open system, and don't feel that your bush stocks are super or maybe tested ambrosia, or they have come from the heaven. I think more the accumulation of organic load, more the compromise of carrying capacity, you are going to get some diseases, and then it will become very, very difficult for Ecuador to manage their profits. Right now, you are very lucky. Your farming success is more than 80, 90%, and that's where the repeated crop is working for you in your favor. But during the disease challenges, I think Ecuador will face major problems.
Okay. So moving a little bit towards sustainability, how has the overproduction affected the health of the marine ecosystem in the regions of like India and Ecuador, and other specific environmental concerns associated with overproduction?
I as a farmer, I don't go by the theories that aquaculture is causing pollution or aquaculture is causing threat to the environment. Aquaculture is there since ages, and there is not quite clear evidence, except a few percentage of here and there some particular example of environmental damage to the mangroves and all. But overall, whatever, I'm not an environmentalist, but I will say that I'm doing shrimp farming for 32 years now, and I have seen a minimal effect on the environment. Unless and until the farmers do a wrong way and try to do super intensive and compromise the carrying capacity. I am the shrimp farmer in the world, and educate people not to stock more and go with the minimum eco-friendly stocking densities. So I can say on my part that Benami, I never cross more than 25 pieces. Now I do monodon, I don't cross more than 10 to 50 pieces. And I always believe that if you shrimp farmers play within the positive carrying capacity, there will be a minimum damage to the environment, and there will be a mutual and coexistence with the environment. But if you try to adopt super intensive systems and try to produce more, 100, 200 per ton
there's
per
more
hectare,
risk.
like that, I will tell you, if you put one egg 1 kilometer, there will no be pollution. But if you put 100 eggs in a square meter, next day you can even walk from that area. There will be so much bad smell. So our environment, our 5 elements of earth has a great natural and divine capabilities to absorb and support the carrying capacity. And if a farmer understands that and play within the positive carrying capacity, I think it will be a mutual benefit and win-win situation. And last but not the least, to answer this, I will tell my farmers that only technology doesn't produce the shrimp. The farmer needs to also understand the elements, the natural support of the water, the earth, the air, and it contributes a lot. So technology is just a steering, but the engine and the power comes from the nature. So it should be balanced very, very properly.
So now that you have mentioned a little bit of the role of technology, I would like to ask you, what is your opinion on this role of technology and innovation to manage overproduction?
See, technology has always helped mankind, and I'm a pro-technology person. But as far as in this Aqua Expo, you can see there is a lot of artificial intelligence, IoT or apps, and so many upgraded version of technology has come. But during this challenging period where farmers are struggling to make even a bare minimum profit, I doubt technification and intensification of the farms with so much capital intensive expenses. I don't know whether farmers are able to balance it or not, but I think we need to be very careful on investment part, whether only producing more per unit area can really be cost efficient or it can be the biggest damager. So I think we need to be very careful when we are adopting technology to sustain shrimp farming, or we are adopting technology to produce more per unit area.
Okay.
So if you are adopting technology to be efficient and sustainable, I think it will be a win-win situation. But if you are adopting technology to intensify the shrimp farming system, I think we need to be very cautious and careful, because finally you may put your head against the wall. You will crash.
Of course, so it's
I'm not against the technology.
How it's going to be implemented.
I am for Ferrari car. I am for Lamborghini, but that also should decide what kind of road you have. If you have such a bad road and there is no meaning of getting into a Ferrari.
Of course, it's not just
so technology should be need specific.
It must have a role, a purpose, a specific purpose.
Always technology has helped mankind, but it should be area specific and your purpose specific.
Perfect. So regarding what you also mentioned regarding with being technology being economically viable, how do you consider that institutions and governments and international organizations to also assist the shrimp industry regarding our production and in a way that is both sustainable and economically viable?
In the entire value chain, I think farmer is the basic fundamental block of the entire value chain. And I'm a farmer, so honestly I don't like when the whole world, entire value chain, in the crisis they start blaming the farmer.
Okay.
Because certification, you blame farmer. Traceability, you hold farmer. Antibiotic issue, rejection issues, you always hold farmer. But if the entire value chain, which is actually an outcome of a farmer, feed mill is for farmer, hatcheries is for farmer, processing is for farmer,
all for farmers.
Market is for farmer. So I think all this value chain should also dedicate the time to make farmer aware, give them knowledge, so that the farmer can be the most integral part of the value chain, most important. So if the farmer is a fundamental, don't put him below your foot.
Okay.
Put him in your head as a crown, because he is the most important in the value chain. So when it talks about sustainability and efficiency of the farmer should be well educated. Farmer should be well aware of the subject, and all these people should take farmer into confidence. So if entire value chain is one, I think then only the proper success and sustainability and a meaningful approach will come to the industry.
That's great. So lastly, based on your findings, what will be some recommendations or advice that you will give to producers in the shrimp industry?
As I said, I'm a farmer, and my very clear message, take-home message to the farmer is that produce the shrimp which is profitable to you. I know market dynamics and market insights are very, very important, but that you work here, but follow your heart. Produce in your farm which is more suitable to you. Try to judge and audit your individual pond, what capacity that pond has, what age that pond has, and what you can easily grow through that pond. And I think be one with your farm, try to study your farm and produce what suits you. And then I'm sure you will definitely earn into profit. And same message I will give it to the feed millers, the technicians, the input companies, the laboratories. Please give a proper knowledge to a shrimp farmer. Don't misguide him, don't push him to produce more for your benefit and your profits, because finally, if farmer doesn't survive, you will also not survive. So, for all to be mutually benefited, I think entire value chain needs to be closely tied together. We should all sit together and discuss each and everybody's problem, and then only a proper solution can come out. And already the world is into overproduction mode. So we all, fraternity of shrimp farming, not only Ecuador, India, the entire world should come together to promote shrimp as one of the best food. And I think if we can increase per capita shrimp consumption from somewhere 300 gram to 500 gram, the world still needs another 2 million tons, and it will be benefit for each and everybody.
That's right. Well, thank you so much for
Thank
your
you,
time,
thank
all
you,
the
thank
insights.
you.
I'm sure everybody that will be watching this interview will find it very interesting. I'll be very thankful for it.
Thank you, Ariana,
Thank you.
and thank you each and everybody, especially the Ecuadorian farmers and industry, for loving me so much, and thank you so much.
Gracias Manoj y Ariana por esta entrevista. Nosotros nos mantendremos informados en nuestras redes sociales de lo que serán las últimas horas de Aqua Expo 2023.